नमस्तुभ्यं भरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धे भवतु मे सदा वसुदेवं सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् हरि ओम् नमस्ते. Yes, can someone recollect what is it that we saw last? Can just form the link and we will move ahead. We saw the first three qualities. Yes, please. Anybody? Yes, anything if you can recollect.
Okay. So in our last session, we discussed about first three divine qualities of the Divine Mother.
Ji.
Okay. So first was sincerity.
Yes.
Okay. So basically, sincerity means uh, being true to yourself and the Divine Mother, and the
Yes.
divine, and the divine. So you gave example of mm, Hanumanji and also Tulsidas. Okay, so basically both of them dedicated themselves out of your love and devotion for the
And they
divine.
had that humility and they were grounded, isn't it, Ji?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Saying okay, second quality was humility, and there also you mentioned about not only Hanumanji and also Arjuna, because he completely surrendered himself. Okay, and then because of this, because of humility, he was ready to. I mean, he was ready to receive the divine wisdom.
Ji.
Okay, and third was gratitude. So again, so gratitude is the also I think it's a mother called it's memory of heart. So we need to be grateful for whatever we have. Okay. Uh, so this was basically okay. Again,
Ji.
Tulsidas
First,
he
yes, first was actually on sincerity. The first one was sincerity. Then it was followed
Then
by peace
peace,
and then
Okay, sorry.
equality. Yes,
equality.
Ji.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yes, Ji. No problem. But they're all quite connected, of course. Yes, Ji.
Yeah. So sincerity, I just wanted to add that we also shared that in one of the quotes that sincerity is also to be true to whatever level you have achieved. So to be
Yes,
authentic,
realization.
yeah, to be authentic and to work from that all the time to whatever you have achieved. So
Yes,
in your central being, like, so
yes,
yeah,
Ji.
so that.
So that was sincerity, and sincerity then leads to, we can say, a
Calmness and
kind
surrender.
calmness
Yes,
and
Surrender.
peace.
calmness and peace. Yes,
Yeah.
Yes,
yes, peace.
Peace
and when
also
we are
in,
at, yes, yes, Ji,
yeah,
please continue.
peace in all the aspects of your being. Like we have so
Yes,
many different beings within us only.
yes,
So the integral peace. So all these
yes,
qualities are integral, right? When we say.
yes,
Hmm?
yes, yes,
Yeah.
Ji. All are they have to be imbibed in all levels.
Hmm.
Sincerity on every front. Means it is some like Sri Aurobindo when he was doing the sadhana of the supramental. When he was asked, he said, I have not yet realized it, so I will not be. In the letters of correspondence, it is not required to tell someone who has not even reached to a stage which is not even the level of the higher mind to talk about illumined and other. But he
Absolutely.
was so sincere to every sadhak in correspondence. Sincerity is visible in every dialogue. Truthfulness. It's not like, ah, देख इनको क्या समझाएगा. I will
Hmm.
give only this much, how much this person. Let that individual rise. But with so much pain and sincere, like as Shwetaji said, insincerity, everything is, it has to be integral. We cannot do it in bits and pieces. And one nice quote was shared, I think Shwetaji only shared today, about the mother, the most sincere, the one who thinks he's perfectly sincere is absolutely insincere, isn't
Yeah,
it?
immersed in falsehood.
Immersed in falsehood. Because I am so sincere, it's like what we call too good to be true. So
It's a
that was
reality
one.
check. Yeah,
So
it
when we are
keeps you
sincere,
grounded,
yes,
no? Like,
yes.
आपको लगता है आप sincere हो, but then सच में, oh God, it's like, dust
It
yourself
is a
and
nature
yeah.
of human nature.
हाँ.
There is a distortion from sincerity all the
Mm.
time. Okay, oh no, how do I look? I better sound like this. I better show. In that we cover our sincerity. Instead, I am what I am. whether or not somebody acknowledges. So that first aspect of sincerity, probably when we are sincere, it helps us to become calm, isn't it? The peace comes when we are sincere. So this peace which is entering, it is a peace which enters all parts of our body. It is something which is deep, which can spread. It is like our aura also changes as the inner peace is cultivated. And I think this aspect of aura we must have heard. Those who have probably seen divine people on earth going into their very presence instills peace. Even when we go to a samadhi, we see the samadhi and we feel peaceful just going there because that is something that peace and we can all cultivate that aura of peace inside of us. Different methods are dhyana by different like offering or by sadhana only it naturally comes. The Buddha was said to have an aura which would stretch kilometers. So this aspect of peace, it is going to come when we are sincere. We will first be at peace with us and then peace with the world also. So as that peace also evolves, we come into the next state, which is the state of samatha or equality. No difference between anybody, no greater, no smaller. As or even in this, it is beautiful. This Atma Shatakam of Adi Shankaracharya, where he says, "Na punyam, na papam, na saukhyam, na dukkham, na mantro, na tirtham, na veda, na yajna, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham." Shivoham, that aspect of equality. Samatvam Yogam Uchyate is what Krishna has taught. He talks about seeing oneness everywhere. Sri Aurobindo received that beautiful Vasudevam Sarvamiti and a beautiful experience of Alipur jail, which is like a beautiful experience of how one can see in the most, what we can say, in the greatest adversity of life. He was there in a solitary confinement, pulled out of the freedom struggle for which he had dedicated his life. Means all his skills, all his strength, everything he wanted to offer to Ma Bharati, and he has suddenly been pulled out of it. And in that dark, dingy prison, there began a different type of sadhana. Stretched, and he see how sincere Sri Aurobindo is when he's writing about the experience. He said borders of insanity. He had gone to that in that extent also, and yet from there the light of Krishna entered. He says, Krishna gave the Bhagavad Gita in my hand. And then the journey began. And then that was a huge new journey, which ultimately led to even it was the hour before the gods awake. To that time also it was taken in the Savitri was born and so many other things. So this aspect of seeing the divine will in everything, seeing the divinity in everything. He saw even in the other petty criminals whom he said misused bodies. That is a beautiful way to describe wrongdoers are misused bodies of the divine. But they are also integral part of the divine, and they are doing something which is a part of a higher play of what we call the Leela of the Yogeshwara. So this aspect of equality comes. So this, I think, all these qualities are, if we start cultivating them, we will become Kuberas only, and all will come one after the other. Like the Ashirvad of the mother is there. Shwetaji wants to add something. Yes, Ji.
I was just reminded that initially it was a struggle even for him in the jail, right? So,
Yes, yes.
yeah, and I remember reading that how finally when he got a chance to walk, he was allowed to walk. Then he used to walk from one corner to another and chant Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. And
Sarvam
slowly,
Khalvidam Brahmasmi.
yeah, and slowly he
Oh,
started seeing Brahma and everything. So yeah,
yes,
how the struggle period was there and how the
yes, yes,
sadhana was
yes.
also there. Yeah.
Yes, he had asked why why is this? Why is this? Because here is a person who has such great ideals for the world, and he is now going to be hanged. That too for a crime he did not commit. And that too, what a inglorious place to keep him for such a luminous soul. But nobody knew that place will become a pilgrimage center later on. Now people go to that prison as a pilgrim center. This is where Sri Aurobindo was. Even the guards, they would avoid going there earlier, where prison, there were rumors. There were rumors, and there were people said they heard different voices and different things. They were really afraid because that was the nature of Sri Aurobindo. So this aspect of look, equality is the third quality in the succession of qualities that the mother has described. We are now going to go to the next quality. As before, I will just share some of the quotes. First, I'll share a quote by Sri Aurobindo about the same. It is from his essays, Divine and Human. Nobleness. So our first quality is generosity. Before we just begin reading this quote, generosity, can someone tell me something about it? Anything
Being
you,
benevolent, in your
benevolence, okay. G, it is, okay, generosity is connected with benevolence, okay. And what is generosity that way? Anyone?
it comes with the essence of giving so much of yourself and
Giving, isn't it?
Mm.
Yes, this aspect of giving, that is something which is generosity. Mamtaji is adding something?
Yeah, generosity means when you give something without any expectation. So
Okay,
basically, you don't have any self interest. So
okay.
without being selfish, you give.
So that
That
is
is
like a bhavana of tyag, isn't it? A kind of,
yes,
and it is given with a love. It's an offering that is given without expectation. That means that is also in
yes.
sync with the karma yoga of Gita, isn't it? Ma phaleshu kadachana,
Kadach.
without expectation. Because if you keep expectation and generosity, it becomes an investment. No? It becomes an investment. It is not a generous, it is something which is a transactional in nature. So that is one interesting thing we see about generosity. And another aspect is, how do we feel when we are recipients of generosity of someone?
Grateful.
Grateful. Okay. Shwetaji is grateful. Anybody else?
Yeah,
Yes.
we can learn how we should be.
Okay, we learn how we can be. Yes, I remember one friend
Okay.
of mine in school had shared his chocolate, and I was like, wow, how did he share his chocolate? It took a while for me to learn to share mine.
So it's not
But
only about sharing, I mean, some resource. It's also about sharing your time, your knowledge,
yes,
your
yes,
experience, I mean, in
yes,
whatever way you can.
yes, it's
So
about it
basically,
offering a
contribute.
love, no? Yes,
Yes, basically contributing as per your own ability for someone else betterment
yes,
or well-being.
agreed. Absolutely. And like it is not necessarily sharing resources. It can be a sharing of your time also. I mean, look at the generosity Krishna gave to Arjuna in the middle of the battlefield. A patient ear. If any of us generally, I'm not just trying to stereotype, but I'm just saying most of us, if they were in that place of Krishna and where Arjuna is ranting continuously, ki, this is going to lead to Varna Sankaraha, Kulakshaya, Mitra Droha, and he is going to go on and ultimately blame Krishna only, the one who tried to prevent the battle. He says, where is out of greed did we try to fight this battle? But have lost our patience. But Krishna, you see, generously lending a very patient ear. Sometimes we are in such a rush that we don't have that generosity of time for anybody. And many times we forget it that we are actually in that process not being generous of time for ourselves also. When we do not have time for anybody, you have no time for yourself also. So that is what is something, it gives a lot of happiness to the receiver. It is something, let us see what the mother talks about. It is, we see giving. Let us see what Sri Aurobindo has told. The first quote we are looking at from his essays Divine and Human. On karma, there Sri Aurobindo has said this. Nobleness and generosity are the soul's ethereal firmament. Without them, one looks at an insect in a dungeon. I think we were talking about Sri Aurobindo's Alipur prison, and this quote is also about an insect in a dungeon here. I'll just repeat this quote and let's look at its meaning. Nobleness and generosity are the soul's ethereal firmament. Without them, one looks at an insect in a dungeon. Sri Aurobindo has beautifully written a contrast here. The first part is nobleness and generosity. What are they? They are the soul's ethereal firmament. They are like the sky for the soul, a great wide, like so vast. They allow the freedom for the soul to expand. It is nobleness will make you, your soul also grow. It will allow you to become wider in your perspective. Same is the case with generosity. These two are something which are very essential in allowing us to expand our view, expand our soul also. Without them, one looks at an insect in a dungeon. Dungeon is a cage, isn't it? A limited place. And there is an insect trapped inside of the cage which cannot get out at all because it is stuck there only. So without nobleness, without generosity, we are going to be very poor. We are going to be like insects in a dungeon. We will never understand that we have the wide sky waiting for us to experience. So we have to have this nobleness and generosity. Let us, if anybody wishes, has something is not clear, otherwise we go to the next quote. All right. I'll share the next one. The mother has written, nobleness is to refuse all personal calculation. Generosity, oh, this is like Mother has explained more about Sri Aurobindo's quote only here. Nobleness is to refuse all personal calculation. Generosity is to find one's own satisfaction in the satisfaction of others. Once more, I'll just repeat this. Nobleness is to refuse all personal calculation. Generosity is to find one's own satisfaction in the satisfaction of others. So, again, it is no swartha, isn't it? Personal calculation is what will I get. Most of the time, people speak to other people for something in return. But that is not noble at all. We have to have noble thoughts, noble ideals, noble deeds. So, everywhere, forgetting what is personal calculation. But then comes the question, what should be our motivation? What should be our motivation to if I don't do if I don't have personal calculation, what will motivate me to do good things or big things in life? Anybody?
Sincerity only, no, like with sincerity.
Okay,
si-
Shwetaji says, just look at the quality which we covered, sincerity.
Yeah.
We have to be sincere, sincere towards ourselves, sincere towards our world also, sincere towards the divine. So that should allow us to go ahead, leaving personal calculations, because there is a limitation to personal calculation. Personal calculation is going to work according to my own limited mana and buddhi, isn't it? This my mind is not going to govern the laws of the world. My mind is not going to control the forces of the world. It is the divine that is in charge. So if I put aside my personal calculations and focus on the divine, it would be the most noble and right thing to do. And look at in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has given us examples of even Janaka Raja. He says, look at Raja Janaka. He was a noble king who was also a Jivan Mukta. He was someone who did brilliant things. He was not poor, yet he was also very noble and at the same time very generous. He dedicated his life for what? For the betterment of every subject. So every rupee that he had, of course, there was no rupees, every ounce of whatever wealth he had, everything he used it for the sake of betterment. That allowed him to become so exalted that when Krishna gives examples of who is the ideal one, first Krishna gives his own example also, but here among the humans he says, look at Janaka and Raja Janaka and the others, how they attained perfection. He could have easily given any other Rishi's example, but he did not because he was the great noble and generous king, Raja Janaka. So this aspect of generosity, this guna, this virtue, this is something which is to be cultivated for our sadhana. Let us be noble in refusing all our personal calculations towards the divine. Only divine's will takes precedence, and generous also, where we can be little satisfied. And I think there's a joy, isn't it, in the smile of being able to give a smile to somebody else or helping someone, just not just for the sake of getting something in return, just because he's going to be of benefit, going to spread some more light, like watering plants. Sometimes people plant some beautiful trees, knowing very well that they will not be around when they will be getting those fruits, but they are okay with it. They're happy. Like let's plant seeds and then we will go. So there'll be flowers later on for somebody else. So there'll be fruits for others. That's a different. That is what is called generosity. What seeds
Mudita.
are we putting? Yes, Ji?
Mudita also.
Muddita. Okay.
Mm.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Let's look at one more quote now. Since we studied the four powers of the mother, Mahalakshmi, Mahakali, Maheshwari, and Mahasaraswati, we can look at one power which is very close to generosity. Can someone guess which of the four Devis?
Mahalakshmi.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let us just see what Sri Aurobindo has written about it. Sri Aurobindo says here about Mahalakshmi. All that is poor. This is mother's quotes of what Sri Aurobindo has written about Mahalakshmi. Sri Aurobindo says here that Mahalakshmi, all that is poor repels her advent. So Mahalakshmi will not accept poverty. What is the meaning of poverty? Yes, mother writes, yes, poor without generosity, without ardor, without amplitude, without inner richness, all that is dry, cold, doubled upon itself, prevents the coming of Mahalakshmi. It is not a question of real money, you know. An extremely rich man may be terribly poor from Mahalakshmi's point of view, and a very poor man may be very rich if his heart is generous. A poor man is a man having no qualities, no force, no strength, no generosity. He is also a miserable, unhappy man. Moreover, one is unhappy only when one is generous. If one has, no, 1 minute, that is not generous, it should be. I think I'll
Not
just look at the
generous.
not generous. That word was not clear. Moreover, one is unhappy only when one is not generous. If one has a generous nature which gives of itself without reckoning, one is never unhappy. It is those who are doubled up on themselves and who always want to draw things towards themselves, who see things and the world only through themselves. It is these who are unhappy. But when one gives oneself generously without reckoning, one is never unhappy. Never. It is he who wants to take that is unhappy. He who gives himself is never so. The mother. May I read it once more?
Yeah.
Yes, please. Sri Aurobindo says here about Mahalakshmi, all that is poor repels her advent. Yes, poor, without generosity, without ardor, without amplitude, without inner richness. All that is dry, cold, doubled upon itself, prevents the coming of Mahalakshmi. It is not a question of real money, you know. An extremely rich man may be terribly poor from Mahalakshmi's point of view, and a very poor man may be very rich if his heart is generous. A poor man is a man having no qualities, no force, no strength, no generosity. He is also a miserable, unhappy man. Moreover, one is unhappy only when one is not generous. If one has a generous nature,
Card.
which, which gives of itself without reckoning, one is never unhappy. It is those who are doubled up on themselves and who always want to draw things towards themselves, who see things and the world only through themselves. It is these who are unhappy. But when one gives oneself generously without reckoning, one is never unhappy. Never. It is he who wants to take that is unhappy. He who gives himself is never so. So this is so sweet and so simple. Who is unhappy? The one who is swarthi, because the swartha is never fulfilled. The swarthy man is absolutely unhappy all the time. One who gives is always happy. I think when we do something, I think that experience comes to us, isn't it? I think it's more joyous to give, no, than to grab and take. Even if you take something, you will not really get that bliss from it, from stealing or snatching something. But instead, when, like, say, you're cooking. I remember once, a very favorite dish of mine, I cooked it, but this time I didn't cook it for myself, I cooked for others. I ended up getting very little in the end because everybody liked it. But the joy on everybody's faces made me, even that little felt too much excess for me because I was already through. I was feeling so happy that everybody liked the dish I made. Though I never ate myself, that feeling was giving me a complete satisfaction. That is what generosity does. Generosity makes us complete. It does not make us, greedy and continuously restless. That is the sorrow of an unhappy poor man. And definition of poor is very different according to the mother. It is not by the bank balance. How many sadhaks are there? I know so many people who don't have anything in their banks, but they are really the richest people in the world. It is something, this is what the mother has talked about here. Extremely rich man may be poor. From Mahalakshmi's point of view, imagine you have a big bungalow, but all the people living inside of that house are not having freedom, not having any happiness. Everybody are living in fear, living in constant worry and anxiety because the one who has built feels he alone is in charge and he has to take care of everything, and everybody must yield to the force of that individual. Now, is that a poor place or a rich place? A palace will look very poor if it is like that, isn't it? And a small, what we call one room kitchen apartment, that also, I mean, just one small place where even three, four people are staying, and yet everybody is generous. Everybody is taking care of each other. There is a consciousness. Now, this person will be rich in Mahalakshmi's point of view because the heart is rich. The heart that is generous, that is what Mahalakshmi likes. And that is where she comes. So let's not think that by being stingy, we will be able to appease Mahalakshmi. She is herself the most generous one, and her Vardhan comes to the most generous ones only. So let us experience Mahalakshmi's presence by first being generous ourselves. So, what is it in this nature? If you see here, some of the points that the mother has written. Who is a poor person? Who is a poor man? A person having no qualities. No qualities. A person having. How can anybody live without any qualities? Or can we think about it that there can people really. Means this shows no the person who is poor may not be financially poor, but with very few or very little qualities. Have we come across such characters in our life without naming anybody? With left very few qualities because that is not important according to them. I don't need any qualities. Some people are there, sincerity not required. I have a lot of wealth. Peace, I don't need peace. What will I get with peace? I have because I was not peaceful, I have so much strength. This is what arrogance and ego comes with swartha. So people end up losing all these qualities. Humility is gone. Equality will not be there at all, isn't it? What we saw. I am so great. Mirror, mirror on the wall. I am the greatest of all. That aspects of a person without any qualities, without any force, no force to do work, no force to do what is right. That's poor, isn't it? Arjuna became poor suddenly before the battle, no? When he lost all this force. Krishna had to say, Klaibyam asmakama partha, naitattvaya upapadyate, kshudram hridaya daurbalyam, tyaktva parantapa. That hridaya daurbalyam, what heart is this? Is a weak heart. No force inside. He said, get up, O Kshatriya, rise. So somebody without force, such an individual is also poor. Somebody without qualities also is poor. No strength. Strength comes from foundation of principles, isn't it? When you have certain principles, then you are going to have the strength. So that absence of that, that is also something. And mainly no generosity. Just my precious things. I have to keep grabbing mine, 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 mine. What is going to happen? Well, the person will get transformed into a miserable creature. The person will not remain like an ordinary human with all of this. It's going to be an unhappy existence. And that is where Mahalakshmi will not be able to bless, isn't it? The place has to be clean, the heart has to be clean, the consciousness has to be clean. There, Mahalakshmi's presence is there. So this is one very important aspect. When for example, our factory also, we were having some difficult time. We decided first thing is we're not going to keep praying and asking for orders or wealth or anything. Let's start focusing on cleanliness. Let's start focusing on doing what is right, little things. Things will fall in place. And we were lucky. We would say it was a blessing. Things did fall in place much sooner than we expected. So this aspect that we have to focus is becoming rich on inside, meaning we have to develop as many qualities. Let us become Kuberas in the qualities that we have. Let us develop a force. The force of then we have that force. With force comes strength. Strength also will come in, and let generosity exist, because without all of this, as the mother has beautifully said, a person is extremely poor. So with this one aspect, I think we are very close to this. And what is generosity is something which we have understood. Can we move to the next quality? That is goodness. Unless anybody wishes to ask or share something more on generosity, can we move to the next quality, that is goodness? Yes, okay. We will first look at a quote by Sri Aurobindo here on goodness. The divine good is no doubt necessarily beautiful, because on a higher plane, good and beauty and all else that is divine in origin meet, coalesce, harmonize. But what men call good is often ugly or drab or unattractive. Human beauty is not always the picture of the good. It is sometimes the mask of evil. The reality behind the mask is not always goodness. So let us just look at this. The divine good is no doubt necessarily beautiful, because on a higher plane, good and beauty and all else that is divine in origin meet, coalesce, harmonize. But what men call good is often ugly or drab or unattractive. Human beauty is not always the picture of the good. It is sometimes the mask of evil. The reality behind that mask is not always goodness. A beautiful quote by Sri Aurobindo, which is talking about two different aspects of goodness. One is divine good. So, what is divine good is like the good that is also beautiful. It is something on a higher plane where beauty and goodness always come together. So, from the perspective of divine, what is good for everybody. It is also very beautiful. This is Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram, because that is the Satya. That is the truth. That is the truth which is auspicious also. That auspicious truth is also beautiful from the highest plane. But what man is calling good is often ugly or drab or unattractive. This event is very good according to a man. Why? Because this event led to certain personal profits for that individual. But one individual's profit does not mean benefit for humanity, isn't it? That is where the human perspective is the narrow one, limited one. We have to rise beyond Sri Aurobindo's yoga, mother's teachings are all for one reason only, to make us rise beyond limited, narrow-minded approach of human nature. Somewhere we will evolve and we may get to experience the bliss of a higher nature. Like the previous quote, we can see the firmaments of a higher truth, an ethereal truth, rather than being insects inside of dungeon. So this good of the divine is also going to be beautiful. Goodness is going to be associated with beauty also, but from the higher plane. But remember, let's say all that glitters is not gold, something like that. What is good from the human perspective may not always be really good. We'll say, oh, it may not be beautiful also. Means human beauty is not always the picture of good. Something is all so beautiful, so wonderful. Again, that might be just a mask of something which is inside. So that is something which we must be wary of. That is what we can see what Sri Aurobindo has said. I'll share the next quote. Please give me a moment. Yes, from the mother. One should not be good with an interested motive. One should not be good so that others will be good to you. One must be good for the sake of being good. This is the simplest principle. Why should you be good? A lot of people say, "Yeah, speak good to this person, speak good to others, so that you will also get that in return." That's again a transaction, isn't it? Goodness is not transactional. It is a virtue, it is an inherent virtue of all human beings. Why should we good? Because we should be good. That is the only answer we should give. Why? This is no because I want somebody to behave nice to me, because I want another person. It is all not required at all. Mother is so clear. One should not be good with an interested motive. One should not be good so that others will be good to you. One must be good for the sake of being good. How simple is that? Just let us look at the corollary. What if I am good with a interested motive? Say I do some good deed with some kind of expectation, personal interest. Is my having an interest going to guarantee I will get it? Not at all, isn't it? I did so much good because I wanted something in return, and then I didn't get that. What is going to happen after that? I'll become miserable, isn't it? I'll become frustrated. And this is the problem of expectations everywhere. We should not have any expectations absolutely from anybody. So I don't have to be good because I want others to be good, because that is the basic fundamental nature of a human being. We have to be a good human being. Then only we can become divine. If we are not good, then we cannot. So that has to be free from interested motives. Because many times children are taught, no, good boy, good girl. ऐसे करो तो good boy. ऐसे करो तो good girl. And then we trapped in one conditioning. So I cannot do this. I know this is sometimes these are all very rigid constructs which get created in the mind, and we get confused. What should I do? If I do this, I will not be good in this person's eyes. If I do this, I will not be good in society's eyes. If I do this, this person will not be good to me. So many what we call dharma sankatas come into our head because of wrong calculations. Instead of doing all these calculations, why should we do all of this calculation? It's simple. Somebody else, auditor will do auditor's work, no? Should we do the auditor's work? That's the biggest question. Chitragupta is going to do the auditing, good and not good. Let him do his job. You are not trying to steal his portfolio right now. So what do we have to do? We just have to forget all of these calculations. Because I am a human being, I will be good because I have to do good for the sake of good only, not because I get something in return. That will allow you to focus on your actions better. That will allow you to do things with a greater peace of mind also. That will also allow you to be truly generous. without expectations. Otherwise, it is all going to get mixed. It is like, it is just how these are so many qualities. They're all interconnected. Just one place you do some mishram or you kind of do pollution from one side, full equation is going to get cancelled and spoiled. So just let us again, like with sincerity, I can be good. No, I'll be sincerely good. That is enough. I'll be sincerely calm or sincerely peaceful. I'll be sincerely practicing equality. Every quality can become a means for receiving or purifying the other quality, and that is how our sadhana of qualities will grow. And as this sadhana grows, we get sparsha of the divinity, what we call Matru Sparsha. We have a product called Matru Sparsha because herbs and soils, that was how the Mother Nature's touch. But this touch of Mother, how else will we get it in life unless we cultivate the best qualities? We have to offer what is best, isn't it? And how long do we have to do this? Practicing of qualities and offering of good. I think lifetime, isn't it? Best example would be the legendary tale of Shabari, isn't it? How was she? She was very sincerely. Her guru just told that, hey, old lady, protect your body. Don't pass away. Sri Rama is going to come. He will come. That is all. Guru's words, she has taken it into her heart. And she is just very carefully, when Sri Rama comes, I'll do this. When he actually comes, she's like, okay, I'll give him this bear, but how do I select? So she's just in her emotions. She's eating, and somebody who is Maryada Purushottama. How on earth? Probably others would have got around him would be like, what is this offering? It is incomplete. But because it was so good, it was with sincerity also, with goodness also, all of it, it became complete and it was accepted. And then she was also blessed. She exclaimed so happily. Tavad, like she was remembering, Tavad Raksha Kalevaram Drushtaivara Gavam Deham Dagdva Yasasi Tat Padam. You will reach the highest pada by the darshana of Raghava. Till then, this my guru had told me, protect Tavad Raksha Kalevaram, protect your Sharira. Then she exclaims, Safalam Guru Vashitam. The what my guru has told has come true, Sri Rama has come here. So, this aspect of goodness is essential, not for something. I do not want to get an award, or like in school, teachers used to give golden star or a red color star or green color star. It's not for that we are going to do things. We're going to do things because that is our essence. We are going to do that because it's our duty and it's the right way to do sadhana. It is the right way to move forward. Otherwise, we will go backwards without our knowledge. It's actually so simple. Moving forward is a very simple process if we practice these qualities. So we look at one more quote and then move to the next quality, that is courage. Another one by the mother. All things which are done outwardly without changing the inner nature, hospitals, schools, etc., are done through vanity for the feeling of being great, whilst these small unnoticed things overcome in oneself gain an infinitely greater victory, though the effects are hidden. Every movement in you which is false and opposed to truth is a negation of the divine life. Your small efforts have considerable results, which you don't even have the satisfaction of knowing, but which are true and have precisely an impersonal and general effect. If you really want to do something good, the best thing you can do is to win your small victories in all sincerity, one after another, and thus you will do for the world the maximum you are able to do. The mother. I repeat it once more. All things which are done outwardly without changing the inner nature, hospitals, schools, etc., are done through vanity for the feeling of being great, whilst these small unnoticed things overcome in oneself gain an infinitely greater victory, though the effects are hidden. Every moment in you which is false and opposed to the truth is a negation of the divine life. Your small efforts have considerable results, which you don't even have the satisfaction of knowing, but which are true and have precisely an impersonal and general effect. If you really want to do something good, the best thing you can do is win your small victories in all sincerity, one after another, and thus you will do for the world the maximum you are able to. How simple is that? Little victories we have to keep attaining, and then we will reach our full potential. Each individual is blessed with the potential of transformation. And for that transformation, first thing, if we want to establish, first is get your inner victories, small ones. Many times you don't even know what are the results. Bhagavad Gita says, Swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Smallest action done in a right manner or in a good manner can protect you from a great danger. So it's little actions, small actions also, little victories have to be sought, not by just vainly doing things so that people praise or, sometimes for the greater good, I need to do little bit bad. It's not right. It is not right at all. It cannot be done that way. You cannot build a foundation of something great on something which is not right. So it's all right. Do your action right. Try to make the little things, even the smallest of small victories will have a great positive consequence to the world. This is something which is very interesting. The mother has talked about. Want to do great good to the world? Start off by winning small victories in our life first. Little good things have to be done. Not denying the divine. Not denying what is absolutely divine. That is something which the mother has said. So let us now go to the next. Because if we want to win victories, what is the first quality that is needed? I want to fight. What do I need for fighting? Courage, isn't it? Dhairya. So, for courage, where do we need courage is my question.
Everywhere.
Everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah.
We want to, anything, I want to take a decision for my life now. For instance, I want to choose a career. Again, I need courage, isn't it? To be brave enough to understand what is it, how is it going to work out with me, how is this affecting my life, how is it affecting my growth. I have to be courageous sometimes in taking decisions. If I want to walk on the spiritual path, even greater courage is required, isn't it? Because what do you have to offer in the spiritual path? Yes, Svetaji, you were saying something? Yes, please.
Yeah, no, I agree because I think courage is mostly required when we show samatha, when we have samatha. That can't happen without courage, like when for peace, for calmness, for everything, only courageous people can aspire for, these qualities. So it's also interrelated, yeah.
Yes. And it is in Marathi, there's a saying, Adhyatma हे वीरांचा प्रांत आहे. The Adhyatma is the prant of the courageous ones only. It is the field chosen by the courageous because what do you have to sacrifice? All your attachments. No? You have to attach or sacrifice to all your attachments to whom? To a God you have not seen. How can one do that? It is very difficult, isn't it? We all have certain attachments we have to hold on to. We feel like we have to hold on to. But on the spiritual path, you have to let go of everything. Your closest, most precious, most important. Like I said, there's so many people who worship to Krishna. They say, Tvadiyam vastu govindam tubhyameva samarpayat. This is yours, not mine. I offer. So there was one in a Gita Varga, one participant was sharing her experience. She would go in front of Krishna every time and pray. She would pray this, like, please, if this has to go forward, Krishna, let it go. If it does not, okay, I'll accept it will not. And that whenever it was difficult, she would do that. Now, a big question of her life came because she wanted to choose a partner. That time, this became the most difficult prayer to make for her because she liked this person, but this was her standard operating procedure for every difficult moment when she has to take big decisions. So she would go and offer at the feet. But now she was just worried. What if Krishna says no? Or if she gets an indication that she's not supposed to? So she hesitated a lot to make that prayer. If let this go ahead if you wish, because if you don't wish, I don't want it to not go ahead. That was the internal fight. But somehow she said she gathered the courage to go and again say the same little prayer. Let it go ahead if you wish to. And she just offered. It is offering up an attachment also, isn't it? Without offering of attachment, you cannot make yourself more Shuddha. You cannot experience what true love is also. You cannot experience what is the essence of a complete and full surrender to the divine if you are holding on in bits and pieces some attachments. And she did later on say, she explained that what she wanted only happened. So she was happy about it. But she said that particular moment that made her very scared. And she is happy that she summoned the courage to make that offering because that was a beautiful an experience for her to offer even the closest to the divine. So courage is required everywhere. Let us see what the mother says about it. You fall into the water. You are not daunted by the great watery mass. You make good use of your arms and legs, grateful to the teacher who taught you how to swim. You grapple with the waves and you escape. You have been brave. You are asleep. Fire. The cry of alarm has awakened you. You leap from your bed and see the red glare of the blaze. You are not stricken with moral fear. You run through the smoke, the sparks, the flames to safety. This is courage. Some time ago, should I read this part again? Can I read that again once more? Yes, please. You fall into the water. Let's just visualize. You fall into the water. You are not daunted by the great watery mass. You make good use of your arms and legs, grateful to the teacher who taught you how to swim. You grapple with waves and you escape. You have been brave. So this is the first part. And first part, you have this like when you have fallen into water, and then you start moving. You have your hands, you have your legs, whatever capacity you have. You express gratitude in your heart. "Okay, I know how to swim now." And that is an important aspect. When you express gratitude, you get the strength also to the divine, and you're able to, like now, he's this person who is in the water can immediately start becoming confident that yes, I have learned, I can swim, and then you escape. You have been brave. Now, next part, you are asleep. Fire. The cry of alarm has awakened you. You leap from your bed and see the red glare of the blaze. You are not stricken with mortal fear. You run through the smoke, the sparks, the flames to safety. This is courage. So, two examples of courage have been given. Because many times what happens is, due to lack of courage, we freeze, isn't it? The fear makes a person suddenly numb. Heavy heart becomes heavy. Legs really don't give, they either give way or they get glued to the ground. You don't know what to do. But all those times, what is most important is courage. This is something. It is like if you are having fear, you'll never be able to swim, isn't it? The first principle of learning how to swim is to overcome fear of water. Without it, it's not possible. Same with the fire. Fire burns. If you suddenly find fire somewhere and you are now too scared to take a leap to escape, nothing is going to happen. So you need that courage, and that is what Mother is talking about. So there's a story she is sharing. Some time ago, I visited an infant school in England. The little school children were between 3 and 7 years old. They were both boys and girls who were busy knitting, drawing, listening to stories, singing. The teacher told me, "We are going to try the fire alarm." Of course, there is no fire, but they have been taught to get up and go out promptly at the alarm signal. He blew his whistle. Instantly, the children left their books, pencils, and knitting needles and stood up. On a second signal, they filed out into the open air. In a few moments, the classroom was empty. These little children had learned to face the danger of fire and to be brave. For whose sake did you swim? For your own. For whose sake did you run through the flames? For your own. For whose sake would the children resist the fear of fire? For their own. The courage shown in each case was for the sake of self. Was this wrong? Certainly not. It is right to take care of your life and to defend it bravely. But there is a greater courage, the courage which is shown for the sake of others. This is so beautiful. The second part of the story was about school children in school of England, where they were taught this fire safety drill was very nicely taught to them, and it was demonstrated to the mother. How all the children went out. They were not afraid, they did not panic. Whatever work they were doing, because they had learnt, they immediately put that aside and went out in the line. So something which is again, for whose sake did they do it? For them, but that's still courage for the self. But there is still a courage which is higher than the courage for the self. It is for the sake of others. I think these are the awardees of this Paramveer Chakra and all those great gallantry awards people receive, isn't it? Many of them receive posthumously. No? What award is going to be equal to a life that is given? Yet they are not doing it for the awards. We on the mortal front who are left behind, who are not going to be able to give anything to them, that is the least we offer, the highest awards that on the human side that we can offer. But for those who have sacrificed for the sake of others, that is something which is brilliant, isn't it? That courage is something which is very special, and that is a greater courage. That is what the mother talks about. This, so courage for self is good, but at least we must have that. But there is something better, and what is better and what is best is what we must aspire for. Courage for others. That is one interesting point to see. One more story I can just share, and then we will probably call it a day. Just a moment. This is it's always very much a lot of fun to read the stories of the mother, how she has, through the stories, some wonderful principles are taught and they remain in the heart always. So, here, let us see. Let me tell you the story of Madhava as it was recorded by Bhavabhuti. He is kneeling outside a temple and hears a cry of distress. He finds a way to enter and looks into the sanctuary of the goddess Chamunda. A victim is about to be slain in honor of this terrible goddess. It is poor Malati. The girl has been carried away in her sleep. She is all alone with the priest and priestess. And the priest raises his knife just as Malati is thinking of Madhava, whom she loves. O Madhava, Lord of my heart, oh, may I after death live in thy memory. They do not die whom love embalms in long and fond remembrance. With a shout, brave Madhava leaps into the chamber of sacrifice and engages the priest in mortal combat. Malati is saved. For whom did Madhava show courage? Was he fighting for himself? Yes, but that was not the only reason for his courage. He was also fighting He was fighting also for the sake of another. He had heard a cry of distress and it had touched the brave heart in his breast. Once more, do you will want to look at the story once more? Yeah. So let me tell you the story of Madhava as it was recorded by Bhavabhuti. He is kneeling outside a temple and hears a cry of distress. He finds a way to enter and looks into the sanctuary of the goddess Chamunda. A victim is about to be slain in honor of this terrible goddess. It is poor Malati. The girl has been carried away in her sleep. She is all alone with the priest and priestess, and the priest raises his knife just as Malati is thinking of Madhava, whom she loves. O Madhava, Lord of my heart, O may I after death live in thy memory. They do not die whom love embalms in long and fond remembrance. With a shout, brave Madhava leaps into the chamber of sacrifice and engages the priest in mortal combat. Malati is saved. For whom did Madhava show courage? Was he fighting for himself? Yes, but that was not the only reason for his courage. He was fighting also for the sake of another. He had heard a cry of distress, and it had touched the brave heart in his breast. So, another beautiful example of how courage is greater when it is for another. Our heart gets empowered. We are able to do greater things than what we can do just for ourselves. So, courage does not only mean for ourselves, isn't it? That's one important point we can understand. So, it is like a mixture of generosity and goodness, also. This courage, which is not just for the self. Standing up for what is right. Even if 100 people are telling you you are a fool and you are doing wrong, don't you dare do this. Still daring and summoning the courage for the sake of others. That is important, isn't it? That is what Krishna, Madhava tried to teach Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita. Uttishta Bharata. Uttishta, that is how he said, rise up, rise up. For what was he fighting? Was it for himself? It was no, it was for the Dharma. It was for Loka Sangraha, for betterment of the world. Rise up. And then finally, that is where he gets, when he realizes what he has to do, he becomes confident of his duty. That is when he says, Nashtor moha smrutir labdhva tat prasadan mayachyuta sthitosmi gata sandeha karishye vachanam tava. He says, yes, I'll now do the words. I'll do according to your golden words. I have lost my own fears. I have lost, my memory has returned. Because in the initial stage, he is full of fear. Karpanya doshopada swabhava pruchhami tvam dharma sammudha cheta yat shreyah syana nishchitam brohi tanme shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. He says, I'm filled with fear. I don't know what is right. I'm not able to understand. So show the way, tell me the way, teacher. That is where in his fear, he has surrendered to the divine, and the divine has given him a blessing. That blessing is the strength, and that strength is what is giving him the courage to take up arms and even fight his own guru, fight all the other people who are standing on the other side of truth even if he is outnumbered. It was said that there were several lakh soldiers extra on the Kauravan side compared to the Pandavan side, and yet all of them stood. Stood for what? Did they fight for themselves? No, they fought for the greater good. And that was where there was a victory, what they call Sri Vijaya, the Vijay of the great of the divine. So that aspect is important. So we have to always remember this aspect of courage that yes, courage for self is good, but for the sake of others also, we must develop it. It's a great quality to have in our arsenal. So many qualities we are planning to cultivate in that this also. Let us summon that courage. Because if we don't, again, conversely, we become participants of injustice. I can say, okay, it's not happening in my apartment, so I will turn a blind eye, but it's happening in my neighbor's apartment. It's a matter of time before it starts. I can become a victim of the same injustice, isn't it? So I'll have to have the courage to take up issues which are not just mine for the sake of others. That is again connected with generosity and goodness. So these are the next set of qualities. If we are to just look at in a flow, so we saw sincerity. Sincerity allowed us to get what we call peace. When we have experienced this shanti, we have also experienced a poise and samatha. Along with that peace came the poise, equality everywhere. And in that equality, there is now no bhed, isn't it? There's no bhed among people, and that is why we are going to feel what we call generosity. And the generosity will allow us to do what? To do good. So, goodness to everybody. And when we are doing this, we understand the value of goodness. That is why it is worth fighting, and that is why we've summoned the courage to fight for what is good. So, this is the current sequence we have seen of these qualities. Let us see later. We will continue tomorrow with the next three qualities, what the mother has told. So, as of now, we've got a nice shrinkala up to goodness, and all are connected. Means that's an advantage also, and a disadvantage also. But disadvantage is that if you allow yourself to get polluted from any front of these qualities, then it's going to spread everywhere. And the advantage is if you are sincere or if everything is there in each of this and you're not allowing any, you're just protecting it. You're doing a good sadhana and you're ensuring that this is not polluted. Then each quality will have a cumulative action only, and it will what we call they'll work in synergy. Will not be 1 plus 1 equal to 2. It might be 1 plus 1 equal to 11. But that is something which we have to see. So I think with this today's session we are good to complete. If anybody would like to share some of the points, or if anybody has any queries, the same can be taken. Yes, please.
I just wanted to know about the colors because how they
Oh,
are
yes,
associated with these,
absolutely. Yes, I think I'll just share that image. Thank you. I mean, that was really, I was supposed to share it and I missed it. One moment. Yes, can you see it now on the screen? If you see, the colors are slowly changing, right? From blue is changing to shades of violet, and courage is ultimately becoming red, like a color gil. So this is
these colors were assigned by mother herself, right?
yes, yes. I think these are assigned by the mother only, from what I understand. The symbol and everything was designed by the mother, and the colors also for the same reason. I don't think anybody else has interpreted and made those, but if is there a doubt about it? Because I think it was, I don't know. I'll check it. I can check and reconfirm, but I don't think anybody else can make this colors palette also this way, the way it has been beautifully perceived. And one more interesting aspect is looking at these colors, we can cultivate the quality also. So if we just look at that color and then try to imbibe the quality in meditation, you'll be able to probably connect to it. So yes, Ji. So I think with this we will. In one moment. Yeah, I'm trying to stop the sharing. It's not. Yeah, got it. Fine. Yes, please. So if someone can share some of the take-home points for the three qualities that we saw today, we can conclude with the prayer. Yes, please. Anybody?
We spoke about generosity, goodness, and courage. So, for me, take home is For generosity, how the satisfaction is in, when others are satisfied. So rejoicing in somebody else's joys
Yes.
and, somebody else's accomplishments and all. So that was a take home for me. And uh, courage also, because courage you understand, but also, you know, the profoundness of it. Yeah, that's like,
Ji.
yeah,
Good.
yeah. So that's what
So we
I
need that
take.
courage to defend what is right and to be brave enough to save ourselves from the
And
dangers. Yes, and
others.
others. That is the
Yeah,
most important thing.
yeah,
Ourselves will give us, yes, but for the sake of greater good. Like you can see
yeah.
how every time it is that, isn't it? The even these regiments, no, of our defense forces, all of them, they have a war cry, a slogan also for their each regiment, and that is for protection only. To like even Jai Bhavani, Jai Shivaji. This
Mm.
aspect of forcing, I mean, creating that strength inside by seeking to protect others, that allows us to do great, tremendous, karmas, different things which sometimes is not possible ordinarily. We can probably receive that strength also. I mean, that strength ultimately comes from the divine only, isn't it? It comes from the Devi. The courage also will come from the Devi. For that, we have to first align ourselves, and the way we can align would be by aspiring to protect not just ourselves, all that is good, all that is righteous, all that is going to help progress. That is probably one thing. Yes, anybody else would like to add anything?
I wanted to
Okay.
add, sorry, just a
Yeah.
sentence, that it's such a precious birth ना, मतलब हम इतना time pass सब करते हैं, लेकिन there's so much that you have to
Yes.
aspire and use in this lifetime that,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
that's what I want.
Yes. Yes. When we become conscious, and that is main aspect. When we become, we experience, and then we understand there's no hurry also. We have births to come also, and they have come before also. So we just have to experience the bliss. And when we connect with others, that is a beautiful aspect of this yoga also, which is also very interesting part of Sri Aurobido's yoga is it does not forsake the world. It is using the material life as a medium for a transformation from to divine life without rejecting the world. Ihaiva, as they say, the moksha is also on this in this world. Yes, Mamtaji was adding something. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I just wanted to add about goodness. So goodness must be unconditional. So we
Yeah.
cannot be good to others expecting them to be good to us.
Yeah.
So that was
Yes.
one of the most maybe important point that
Ji. Yes, ji.
for me.
Yes, I think good reminder about goodness, because goodness for the sake of good, because many times कोई मेरे से अच्छा ही नहीं है, मैं क्यों किसी से अच्छा, why should I be nice to others, why should I be good? No, it is not for that. It's all right. It's okay if the entire world is not good to me, but I am going to stay because this is what I stand for. This is what is the ideal. Maybe my idea of the world is better than the world's idea also. It's okay. I don't care. I'm not going to drop the goodness because that is a important aspect of our life. And probably that will allow us to, I mean, I think we all studied the powers of the goddesses. It looked so beautiful. The powers looked, wonderful, dynamic, and everything. But the qualities look so much simpler to practice. If we just do that, maybe we will suddenly start experiencing the all powers of the goddesses only, isn't it, in our life? As we, strengthen these qualities within us. And the beautiful aspect is you will be able to experience the joy in company with the divine's ways. In the mother's company, we will start experiencing what we call sanidhya. And it's a kind of a mukti only. It's a kind of a liberation in life which we can experience. Like in so many mantras, Shivena Sahamodati, they enjoy with the divine, those who experience. So let us see when we complete also, it might be interesting how they are, we might get a direction also, how these qualities are going to ultimately take us further. So I think with this, we will conclude our session today, unless there is any other query. If not, let's conclude. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes,
one,
Shitaji, yes, please. Yes, please.
yeah, I just looked up on the colors. It was Sri Aurobindo who gave the colors to the mother's symbol.
Oh, so wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
That's so lovely. Yeah, Sri Aurobindo can give. I meant others in the sense sadhaks. I meant other sadhaks. Sri Aurobindo, of course, they are one. And yes, their works are one. Thank you for sharing that, Chitraji. So here, one question. If I do not know if you know it, you can share now. Else, you can also look up and share. Even Sri Aurobindo's symbol has colors, isn't it? That also there's a colored version of Sri Aurobindo's symbol also. No? Maybe that also we can just see the. Is it colored or just if you do find out whenever and you can a request from and yes, please.
Color white and
Yeah.
blue, right?
Yes, Ji?
This blue and white, right? Or it's
Is it?
colorful.
I thought there's a lotus. Sri Aurobindo's lotus is
Pink
different from
lotus.
the mother's lotus, and
Yeah.
that is a significance I know. But
Yeah.
in the symbol, maybe later on we can look at it.
Okay.
Yes, please. All right. Oh. Mamba Lalita Devi Jagadambe Janani Namastasya 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 Namo Namaha Mamba Lalita Devi Tvamananda Sagari Namastasya 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 Namo Namaha Sarvamangalamangalye Shive Sarvarthsadhike Sharanye Triambake Devi Narayani Namostute Narayani Namostute Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Punarmilava, we will look at the next three qualities tomorrow. Namaste. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Jay. Namaskar.